More and more individuals and businesses are buying into the fact that conscientious living is healthy for us all. Some make small commitments and some go all out. For Tayst Restaurant's Jeremy Barlow, a personal goal to go green and shop local changed his professional life when he earned the Green Restaurants Association coveted 3-star certification. The rating governs nearly every aspect of Barlow's operation, from watts wasted to food recycled to water saved. The rating is no mean feat. Tayst, located on 21st Avenue in Nashville, is one of perhaps a dozen restaurants in the nation to earn 3-star status. Barlow gained a lot of attention as CNN and Martha Stewart came calling. Still, it's the food that keep customers happy and coming back to Tayst.
What drives me is the search for the best food I can put on the plate. That's how it all started. The green thing came from that. But my primary goal as a chef is to put out the best product I can. We have to have good food consistently. That's what's going to make us successful. The green thing makes a lot of noise for us, but if we don't pull that off, it doesn't matter. And for me, the best product is 90% of the time something you're going to find locally. The secondary drive for me is the ability for my children and grandchildren to have food and the food choices that we have right now. It's only taken us 2 generations to go from plentiful harvest in the home, canning with your grandmother, fun family dinners, to half our meals eaten outside of the home. And as a chef-owned restaurant and this view and philosophy we had in the kitchen, it was important that the restaurant is my personality and my beliefs. So we extended the views of local food, environmentally friendly food, green food, sustainable food in the kitchen to the rest of the restaurants. And I started meeting farmers growing local food and finding out how they farm and why they farm, which of course sparked, why are these guys farming like this? How are the other people farming? And, getting into all of the negative aspects of industrial farming. But the food is still being grown, and it's still being grown in the regions. And you just now have to build a relationship with the farmer on a different level. We have a list on the board of all the farmers that we use each day. I know exactly where my food comes from. I talk to the people growing it, and that is probably the most rewarding part of it.
So this is Kentucky bison from just outside of Bowling Green. And it's covered with cocoa and vanilla and cayenne pepper and braised. And then the greens are from Delvin Farms in College Grove. And the potatoes are from Farmer Dave, which is just north of here. We just braise it for a long time and reduce the sauce. There's some bacon in the greens from Allen Benton, which is in East Tennessee.
The Green Move was a really positive business move. It gave my restaurant a rebirth almost. And in doing so, it's gotten us some national attention. We catered a wedding for Martha Stewart, who wanted to do a green wedding, and it was on Style Network and in the magazine. And CNN came in and wanted to focus on green restaurants, and is this a movement that's going to be a wave of the future, which I think it is. And we continually get some local press. They always kind of want to know what's the next thing we're doing, where are we going, how are we advancing, the sustainability of our restaurant, the greenness of our restaurant. But the certification is we have a 3-star within the Green Restaurant Association, and there are, probably a dozen now in the country with a 3-star certification. When we got our 3-star finally, it was just 6 of us. So the ones that were there are kind of moving up that level. They're constantly improving, and the new ones are coming and kind of filling in their space at the 2-star level. Every single aspect of the operation at a restaurant is connected with a point value. And when you change from one way to an eco-friendly way, you gain the points on that to a certain number. You have to have 100 points for a 2-star, 170 for a 3-star, and then it jumps all the way up to 470 for a 4-star, which is the highest and almost unattainable, and done so on purpose. You can always do something to make it a little bit greener. We have aerators on our faucets, and they save us 14,000 gallons of water a month. It cost us $6. It was a cheap fix, and it was a great fix because we saved a bunch of water on a monthly basis. If we have a frozen product, which here we make everything from scratch, so we don't have too much of that. But when we do, the typical restaurant method is put it in a bucket, pour water on it, let the water run, let it run out. We don't do that here. we make sure we think ahead and we pull it out a couple days ahead, let it thaw out in the walk-in.
Brulee.
A restaurant typically has 50,000 pounds of waste a year. When we switched to recycling, it was one of our first steps, and we had at that time 7 cans of trash in the kitchen that got taken out, put in the dumpster every night. And as we started to separate our cans, one's recycling, one's compost, we are down to about a half a can on a nightly basis. Our to-go containers and bags are either 100% PCW or biodegradable. And if you think about our restaurant and that we eliminated 6.5 cans a day, and we're small, 5 night a week place. Think about all the restaurants in your city and how many cans they go through. And if they're open lunch and dinner, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we're 85 seats, so think about the one that's 200 seats. How many cans are they going through per shift that gets taken out to the dumpster? And look at every bar. And the next time you sit at a bar, just watch what happens. And everything behind that bar is recyclable. And we give our fryer oil to an individual who owns a green shop here in town. She uses it for her car. The byproduct of turning old fryer oil into biodiesel is glycerin, which we then get back and use for our cleaning supplies. We changed our paraffin candles to beeswax candles. We dealt with a company that probably went through 14 different companies. The windows have energy efficient films on them that cut down on the amount of solar heat and radiant heat that goes in and out. It took me 9 months to find light bulbs. And we ended up with these 5-watt CFLs, and they saved me a million watts of electricity a year. So, that's huge savings when you look at it. And lighting in a restaurant is 17% of your monthly fees, 17% of your energy use. The stuff we do in the restaurant is great because it reduces energy, it reduces waste, it conserves water. It does all those positive things that we need to do. Cuts down on our fossil fuel use. Doesn't cause as much damage to the environment. All these positive things that Going Green can do. But it comes back to the food system, and it comes back to how that affects every part of our life. Obviously, the food is the biggest one. That's where we make the most impact in what we do. And we have compost. So we compost all of our food, which in the restaurant is the most waste. So we have one farm, Wedge Oak Farms, Karen Overton is her name. And she comes, picks up our compost, and takes it back to our farm, makes us awesome dirt. And from that awesome dirt has, awesome worms. And the worms feed the chickens, and the chickens come back to the restaurant. And then, the scrap goes back to the farm. So we've closed that cycle, and it's a great example of how you can do that. Eliminate everything. So the cycle can be closed, and we're small. We're a small restaurant, but we show that it can be done. It is all listed on the Green Restaurant Association website, which is dyinggreen.com. You get on there and see every single step that we've taken, and they're continuing to take. It never stops. It's a change of mindset, and once you start, it's like, ooh, we can change this. Oh, we can change that. Oh, we should flip this. We can make that more eco-friendly. We have done a lot, and I can't even think of them all. When we first opened and we first got a ton of press for the green thing and whatnot, we got a lot of greenies in here. People pretty much know we're the local food thing. Most people know we're green, but not everybody. We get a lot of out-of-towners. We get a lot of different people that, they're like, oh, they find out at the end of the meal that we're a green restaurant. And then they're even, they're happier because, one, they had a great meal and a great experience, and then they find out afterwards that, hey, we're not only did you have a great time tonight, we're a good restaurant, but we are a very conscious restaurant at the same time. But the real benefit to that is it allows me to share what I've learned and taken the time to learn, particularly with the food system and what it can do to our community and our country, and share that with everybody. We've been very fortunate in the amount of attention we've received, particularly because of the green thing. That's not why we did it. It's a nice end result as far as all the work we put into it. But the key is getting people in the restaurant. And, for us, the green thing is a philosophy of operation in which, once you really know what's going on with the food system, it is the only way you would want to run a restaurant.